What's up, dudes and dudettes? I mean, what's up, guys? How's it going? So I'm pretty sure if you guys haven't seen last video with all about Texas, breaking down why Texas is in the South, Sorry, it came out into my recommendations a video in which that happened back in 2021, which was a year where I went to go visit my friend up in Pennsylvania. And also, when the day happened, I was not home. I wasn't in Texas when this happened. However, I did come home not shortly after the whole this debacle happened, because I spent a week up there in Pennsylvania checking out the sites, going to New Jersey, Atlantic City, the Hershey factory, so on and so on. And while I was there, I did talk to my mom before going to bed one night and told me what happened. And I was just like befuddled. Like, I couldn't believe it. And also, like in my last video where we're talking about Texas, is that one thing that I think I also failed to mention was that Texas has very weird weather practices, or we have very weird weather patterns, so to speak. It goes without saying that here in Texas, things get kind of fucky when it comes to the weather. This past weekend on Saturday, it got super cold. Well, I wouldn't say super cold, but it was in the 50s. But for me, it wasn't cold enough. It's got to be like in the 20s for me if it's going to be cold. It's got to be really, really down there. Got to be like, Pennsylvania type of cold with snow and ice and rain, sleet, whatever. But anyways, well, while that happened, Texas's power grid went completely bonkers. And that's what we're going to dive into in this video, with why Texas power grid, went completely freaking haywire. So let's dive into that. All right. But before we do, please, you guys, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Don't be a ghost watcher. Please help this the channel out. And with that being said, yeah, all right. All right, guys, let's check this out. What happened during 2021? The so-called deep Texas freeze, the infamous deep freeze, and also the day or week that freaking Ted Cruz wasn't here and whatnot. I mean, I love the dude, but what he did, I don't know if he had hindsight and saw it coming and decided to take. That's why he went on his little vacation and whatnot, and why he kind of gets kind of flack for it and whatnot. But fucking, it's it's, I guess, beyond my freaking control or whatever. But if he left on a reason other than just for the vacation and whatnot, then he dodged a bullet and not being here, because I did. I was in Pennsylvania, like I said, and I thankfully didn't experience this freaking shit.
Total power grid collapse.
We're coming for you, man.
Yeah.
Roof is starting to fall in.
It created
Sorry about that, guys. Had a technical difficulty, but anyways.
The humanitarian crisis.
A statewide blackout.
Yeah, statewide.
Texas,
It was definitely statewide.
a state known for its resilience against heat, suddenly finds itself at the
And
mercy
cold.
of 2 brutal winter storms.
Yep.
Families are left grappling with the unprecedented cold and days-long power outages. It soon becomes a life-threatening situation. We'll unravel the Great Texas Freeze, from how it became a record holder to all the ways this could have been less devastating. When the cold front hit that Wednesday, electric utility crews said they were prepared to
Okay, yeah. Happened on a Wednesday. Because on Wednesday, while I was in Pennsylvania, that's when I was in New Jersey, in Atlantic City. Staying at I forgot what the hotel was.
respond
Anyways.
to all reports of power outages. But this could not have been further from the truth. The next morning, the first weather advisory was issued in Northwest Texas.
I didn't know about it about the time I got back. Well, me and my friend got back to his house in Allentown, Pennsylvania, because that's where he lives, in Allentown. It's a really nice town. But yeah, I didn't know about it up until when I got back, back home. And well, not back home, like back in the state at my house, back to his house. In other words, but yeah, but holy shit, dude! Like, it freaking befuddled me, and I was like, oh my god, I hope my family was okay and whatnot, and kind of decided to call the trip a bit early and whatnot, and me and my friend ended up driving back and whatnot. So about the time we got back, like, yeah, freaking things look pretty different in the way that when I got home, my yard almost looked dead. Like all the grass still was just like, brown and whatnot, like it died and whatnot. Thankfully it didn't, but it looked that way. Like, holy shit.
Isolated freezing rain began falling and expanded to neighboring counties after sunset. At 6:30 p.m., a Delta Airlines flight slides off the Pittsburgh International Airport
I did not know that.
taxiway. With no reports of injuries, passengers were on the aircraft for 3 hours before disembarking.
Oh, wow, thank God.
It would be another 24 hours before the plane was removed from the runway.
Oh, wow.
While the Delta incident was quickly managed, it was only the first taste of what was to come as the situation in Texas escalated rapidly. Hours later, the Fort Worth 911 center was inundated with desperate calls.
Yeah, car crashes. I did know about that part. Yeah, this part right here was viral all over Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, I think, as well. Yeah, it was pretty viral all over the platforms and whatnot. And I didn't see it up until like maybe the week after the incident, once I was like already home and whatnot, and things were starting to get back into normal a bit, so to speak. As for my family, I think we were out of power for, not sure exactly how long they were out of power, but I know when I did get home that they had power. Yeah, the power was already back on.
In a car next to me, he's just screaming. I don't know how many cars have packed up. They're all stacked on top of each other.
First responders arrived at a massive car accident involving 133 vehicles. Many of those involved were healthcare workers wearing scrubs and hospital badges.
Fuck.
This included
that. Let's take a look at that image a little bit right there. This looks like fucking. It looks like the compactors, right? That crushes the cars. It kind of looks like that. That's what it basically kind of looks like right here, dude. Like, holy fucking crap. Have you ever seen like one of those car compactor smasher things and whatnot, type of places and whatnot? It kind of looks like that. Kind of what it looks like right now here, dude. Like, holy shit. Like, fucking hey, we got a freaking car over there that's like right over here by the edge, freaking crinkled up. And like, goddamn, God forbid if anyone was in there got, oof, if there wasn't, holy shit, dude, fuck, that's terrible.
Many of
That's
those
just terrible.
involved were healthcare workers wearing scrubs and hospital
Ooh.
badges.
Damn, dude.
This included an off-duty EMT who
So most of the people that got involved in this car accident were either going to work or going off work.
jumped into action, working for hours, even though he had a fractured ankle and other injuries from the collision.
Damn.
We're coming to get you, all right? You hurting anywhere? Can you crawl out if I break this window?
Fire engines
Probably.
subsequently closed off the
The jaws of
roadway
life.
to prevent further pileups. Nearly 120 emergency responders were on the scene to clear the roadway.
Damn, dude, that's a lot of personnel.
Meanwhile, buses arrived to help motorists warm up after being freed from their cars to prevent hypothermia.
Dude.
After a 4-hour operation, the death toll would stand at 6.
Ooh,
More
only
than
6 people
60
died.
others were treated for injuries, among them
Yeah.
4 police officers. Due to the storm's severity and the scale of the accident, it would be several more days before the road was cleared.
God damn,
The
dude.
collision was the most staggering crash
Probably one of the worst collisions I've ever seen in Texas in quite a while and whatnot. Because they kind of happen almost on a regular basis here in Texas and whatnot. And I don't know whether it's because people are like, freaking just stupid ass drivers or, I, however, would like the crashes to be, not because of idiot drivers and whatnot, because, it should just be like, common sense that like, if you're a shit ass driver, like this is what's going to happen. If you're a shit driver, you're going to end up in this situation. Right. But everyone, honestly, I don't know what's going on with the driver's classes or whatever and whatnot, or who's teaching drivers ed these days. Is that it needs to be looked at. His department needs to look at that or whatever. And, because holy shit, dude, like not long ago, this past weekend, the other day, on Sunday, I was headed towards Brownsville and some fucking dude in I think a Ford F-150 starts freaking zooming past me and almost freaking like nudged or freaking like bumpered another car. It was like an SUV type car, I think. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell what brand it was and whatnot, whether it was like a Nissan or a Toyota or whatever, but he almost hit it with his bumper and whatnot. And like, holy crap, had it on dash cam too. And I was like, dude, God forbid if like this fucking idiot, just crashes into this guy and this dude didn't even like turn on the turn signal or anything like that. He didn't signal his turn that he was gonna like, cut in between here or over there or whatever. He just freaking just did it, zoom passed by thinking like this was freaking Need for Speed or some shit. Fast and the Furious. Like, holy fuck, dude. It's gotten freaking drivers today fucking suck.
crash during the February 2021 storms, but there were many more to come. As the disaster unfolded, Texas declared a state of emergency.
Yeah, we did.
However, the response revealed a significant oversight. Despite prioritizing gas, they relied heavily on electric heating. This revealed a lack of preparedness in managing energy.
Mm-hmm.
By the weekend,
I know in my last video, like, I was gushing over Texas and whatnot, but those are all the good things. Okay, like the food, its geography, the history, so on and so on. In that last video, if you haven't checked it out, but some of the shitty things that Texas is known for, one of them is our power grid. I have to say,
freezing temperatures had forced 22
it still sucks today. I'm not gonna lie.
gas power plants to close. The infrastructure, including the production facilities and pipelines, were not designed to operate in such cold conditions.
No, they're not.
With the demand increased, prices spiked, making heating even more expensive and heightening the risks of power outages. Additionally, shutdowns across critical industries threatened to disrupt the economy, not just locally.
And yeah, like statewide, like in the state of emergency, started saying that if you have no power, please report. You can go to this university or this school and yada yada yada. Basically using the hurricane emergency shelter areas and whatnot as well, establishments for people to go and, you know, take shelter.
but
and stuff.
nationwide. As if that was not enough, an unprecedented winter event was heading straight for southeastern Texas. By the afternoon, an Arctic cold front hit with snow, sleet, and freezing rain battering the area and intensified overnight.
Yeah, it got
The
pretty
storm was driven
bad.
by two weather patterns. First, higher than normal pressure over the polar region meant lower pressure in the northern U.S.,
Okay.
letting extremely cold air move into Texas.
Right.
And second, a polar vortex that pushed down intense bursts of cold from the North Pole.
Oof.
Roads became impassable, and temperatures dropped to the teens or single digits in places with wind chills below zero.
Yep.
This triggered the state's first ever wind chill and hard freeze warnings. Demand for electricity and gas soared as people bitterly tried to stay warm in unprepared homes. Due to the overwhelming demand, unplanned outages started happening, and soon the energy provider ERCOT issued a warning about
Down here where I live, if the weather gets pretty bad, whether it's raining or even extreme hot, we'll have outages. And even surprising today, I have some friends on social platforms saying that, like, hey, is this part of so and so all right? And they're like, what? Like, what's going on? You in the dark? And it's like, yeah, power outage. So not long ago, guys, a couple hours ago, there was a power outage in a city called in a little town called, what's it called? Stewart Place? No. Sorry, that's the street. Well, it's not far from where I live and whatnot, but fucking it's that they're unfortunately they're experiencing a power outage. So, like I said, freaking Texas's power system here, our power grid, freaking sucks. It sucks ass, dude. It needs to be updated or something, dude, because holy fucking shit, it gets really annoying. It got so annoying that my dad had to basically, we signed up for solar power, and in the long run, right now we're kind of reaping the benefits right now, because our electric bill was would average between like $600 to $700 whatnot, which is fucking ridiculous. Like, holy shit, dude. $700 for like freaking electricity? Like, are you serious and whatnot? So my dad switched to solar power, so we have solar power and whatnot, and it's been going pretty great. Our average bill now comes down to $300. Just think about that. I said originally our power bill was like $600 to $700. Cut that in half because of solar power. Thank God. Anyways, let's continue.
potential rolling blackouts. That very day, President Joe Biden declared a state of emergency. In the early hours of the morning, ERCOT instructed electric companies to reduce power to prevent a grid shutdown. This action, known as load shedding, resulted.
And I'm not sure if he's going to talk about this, but I witnessed it firsthand, though. I was going to our local HEB. HEB is just in Texas is our grocery store. It's the brand of the grocery store that we have here, that it's pretty much found through all of Texas and whatnot. And I was going to get my family some groceries, but while I was getting some groceries, next to the HEB was an inn or a hotel kind of area, and all I saw was nothing but electric company vehicles from out of state, from different parts of the U.S. There was one, I remember the license plate. One was from Michigan, one from Florida, one from Pennsylvania, one from I think Louisiana, one from Georgia, one from Alabama, so on and so on. Dude, freaking everyone out of state that was out of staters or other state workers came down to help fix our power grid. That's how dire and freaking bad the situation was. I don't know if this guy's going to talk about it. I hope he does, though.
In more than 3.6 million people losing electricity.
Yeah.
Among those affected were the Beckel family. And it all started with a 911 call.
Oh, shit.
The fire.
So we think medical, a wellness check.
What's going on?
We have family there right now, and the last time somebody spoke to
Is this the family that froze to death?
them, they fainted on the phone.
Oh
and
shit!
we're
I
just
knew
trying
it.
to find out if
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I think this is the family that I think that froze to death, if I'm not mistaken.
Stay on the line for Houston Medical. One moment.
The Houston Fire Department knocked on the
In
door
Houston,
13
yeah.
minutes later, but left when there was no answer. When dispatch returned the call,
Yeah,
he
they
didn't
froze to
warn the
death.
firefighters about
Hypothermia.
possible carbon monoxide poisoning.
Oh
Nobody's on
fuck!
scene, so
Never mind.
it's one of those things. If they get there and they have to force entry,
Uh-huh.
they're gonna break the door, like break the just
The
place
door
the
down.
lock.
Yeah, that's fine. Do that as soon as possible.
Okay.
Please.
But this isn't your family member, right?
I mean, this is our family. We think that they might have inhaled carbon monoxide in the garage.
Why do you think
Oh
that?
hell, dude! Were they trying to use the car as like their heating station and whatnot? Oh my god, dude! Fuck, that's messed. This is so fucked. That's totally fucked, dude. Not comment on but uncomment are, let me see. I do know and have read when it comes to trigger warning suicide victims that they do this carbon monoxide poisoning, you know. And I'm not gonna say how exactly, but just use your imagination or whatever, or just if not, look it up. Or better yet, you'll if you ever seen that movie Bad Santa, that's all I'm gonna say. Okay, we'll leave it to that. I'm not gonna speak on it anymore. Anyways, but like, you know, if the case was that, you know, that they were using their car and using the heater to stay warm and whatnot, they probably failed because they're in an entrapped location, especially with the garage door down. They're not going to be getting the air in the garage is going to be displaced with carbon dioxide, and they're going to get carbon monoxide poisoning and whatnot. Basically, exhaust from the car. They basically poisoned themselves to death.
Why would he have been inhaling carbon monoxide? Is the question.
Because the car was on in the garage.
Ah,
and they
see,
were
you know,
cooking
there it
because
is. There it is. I didn't because the car was on in the garage and they were cooking. Oh, okay, so they were cooking because of the power outage. Okay.
the car was on. They were trying to charge their devices.
Well, we have units out there. I'll let them know.
Right. Yeah. See, they were trying to use their car as, you know, their source of heat and power and whatnot. So basically, they're using their car as a makeshift power generator because I'm pretty sure they didn't have one. I know that after this fiasco happened, my parents ended up buying a generator right after.
I'll make a tactical decision on that incident. I'll get HPD out there.
Again,
Shit.
they left without speaking to anyone inside.
Oh my
It
god,
had been
dude!
more than 2 hours since
No,
the
they're
first
dead.
call, and the anxious family member had heard nothing.
No, they're
I
dead, dude.
called 2.5 hours ago for a wellness check. I'm calling for an update.
Okay. So we went out there.
Okay.
Did you make contact with the people inside the home? I
It
spoke to
doesn't-
the fire department earlier. It says the truck was there for 15 minutes, but that's all they could tell me.
Okay, that's
people are
the same
still not
thing I can tell you. So I have the same information they have. There's no other update.
Oof.
Even
they're
though
dead,
this
dude.
was the third visit to the house, the fire department got lost. They
Oh,
arrived just
shit.
around midnight. There was still no response to the knocking.
They got
However,
lost.
this time, they didn't just walk away.
They broke in?
Instead, they called with additional questions before entering the house.
Oh, okay.
They went to the address. They said
Yeah.
it looks empty. Why do y'all think someone's there? Or are y'all sure
So we
someone's there?
think that a family of 2 parents and 2 children is unconscious due to carbon monoxide inhalation.
Oh my god.
Inside,
hours.
all 4 family members were found unresponsive.
Yep. They
It's
died. I
believed
knew
the
it.
family had been unconscious for more than 12 hours
No, yeah,
before
they're dead.
responders arrived.
Mm-mm.
For the 46-year-old mother and her 7-year-old daughter,
Oh my god, dude, this freaking sucks, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, like I remember like coming across this and there was like a short, I think on either on YouTube or I don't know, on I think on TikTok. Yeah, I think on TikTok or somewhere on the social platform it popped up, and basically the person said in the video that was like, you know, reporting it, said that this family unfortunately died of carbon monoxide and possible hypothermia, and like, you know, oh my god, I don't know what to say to that, man. Freaking, it's just fucked. So like the guy was saying that they were using the car for cooking and to use the power within the portholes to charge their devices, their cell phone, I bet, so they can probably get some kind of help or see, you know, check the news and whatnot, see what to make an informed decision to see what they're going to do. Probably whether it's either to leave the house and get to some kind of shelter or whatnot, or maybe family. But unfortunately, they, you know, they met their end, dude.
It was far too late. They were both pronounced dead at the scene. The father and his 8-year-old son were unconscious, but alive, and rushed to the hospital.
Oh shit, they're alive.
Tragically, the front door to the family home had been unlocked all along.
Oh my god, dude. So then so they didn't even bother to, like, you know, break down the door and go freaking check.
It was discovered that the mother was using her car to keep warm. Her
I
husband
thought so.
went to the garage.
I knew it because, yeah, I thought so. But because she didn't have her door, the garage door open, all the carbon monoxide eventually is gonna build up, and then before you know it, once you inhale it, it's pretty much downhill from there. Especially if you don't know the dangers of being in an entrapped place like that, where the air is going to be displaced, then, you know.
Conscious inside the car with the engine still running.
Oh my god, dude.
The Conroe family also woke up to an unimaginable tragedy less than 24 hours later.
What? Why?
11-year-old Christian Pavone was found unresponsive in the bed he was sharing with his younger brother.
Oh shit.
Just hours earlier, Christian had been excited to see snow for the first time after moving to the U.S. from Honduras in 2019 to live with his mom.
Okay.
Tragic home video footage shows him playing in the snow.
Oh
in
no,
hopes
dude.
of staying warm, the entire family of 5 huddled in a single room in the family's mobile home. Christian was pronounced dead that afternoon, seemingly from hypothermia.
Knew it.
But the autopsy would tell a different story, one that would lead to a lawsuit. While families faced the brunt of the storm inside their homes, outside, the state's infrastructure began to crumble under pressure. By this point, many methane gas processing plants had lost power because they weren't listed as essential services. This made it harder to supply gas.
Whoever freaking listed that needs to be kicked in the face and fired.
To power stations. To combat the energy shortfall, regulators manually boosted the electricity supply, but this action triggered a sudden spike in prices. With residents seeing dramatic.
Yeah. This is where after this action, the electric bill started going up the fucking roof, and people were like, you know, why am I paying almost like $1,000 for fucking electricity or whatever, dude? Like, ridiculous. Holy shit.
Higher energy bills. Neighboring states were also affected by the cold, but managed to import power from the unaffected East Coast. However, this offered little reprieve for Texas, which has a largely autonomous electric grid with limited outside connections.
Yeah.
It was 5 days.
And it's also because we're trying to be an independent energy state and whatnot. There's also, don't quote me on this, but we also have some practices like stated just a while ago by the narrator, is that we don't have, you know, neighboring power to rely on in case of crisis and whatnot, right?
Days into the storm, and it just kept getting worse. Grocery stores were starting to feel the weight of the supply issues.
A lot of grocery stores are going
limited
empty.
in the water and propane sales. Meanwhile, there were conflicting statements in the media regarding the blackout. Government officials said that renewable energy was mainly responsible, while ERCOT contradicted this by saying that frozen wind turbines were not the main factor in the blackouts. The following day, temperatures started picking up, but Texans were unaware of what was still to come. As the day progressed, more power generation was restored and the rolling blackouts ended throughout the state. As the power crisis eased up, a new challenge emerged.
Water.
The extreme weather had caused water mains to break, forcing people to drip their faucets to prevent pipes from freezing. Additionally, power outages impacted water treatment plants, resulting in a decrease in the water system pressure. The consequences were dire. Almost half of Texans were left without access to clean water. Their only option was to boil water from taps or melt snow.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, due to the ongoing power outages, many were unable to do so. The severity of the situation was documented on social media, which was flooded with images of people.
Yeah, I was all over Twitter, all over just about every platform, dude. Like, holy shit. And let's see what is presented. This is not a third world country. This is Houston, Texas. I spotted a line of people filling up buckets of water from a spigot at Hayton Park. Why? Millions either have no water or under a water boiler advisory.
Filling buckets with water and resorting to makeshift solutions like using plastic bags and toilets. The power outages even disrupted food distribution, causing some.
With the bag in the toilet, here's something for your information. Something for just in case, you know, something for your arsenal, guys. When I was growing up and living some hard times and whatnot, because we didn't have much money and whatnot, and we were kind of like a little bit poor. When we didn't have water, my dad would either use canal water for bathing, and all he did was, like, you know, he boiled it up and treated it for, like, you know, for pathogens, bacteria, whatever, right? So he boiled it for, you know, for 30 minutes or so. Then he put some Clorox or some water purification tablets and whatnot, and we used it for bathroom and for showering or bathing. Basically, we didn't drink it, of course. We were able to get water from a neighboring in town, one of the water wells. It was like, I don't know, maybe $1.25 to fill up our 3-gallon thingamabob for drinking and cooking, and we had 4 of those, and we filled them up, and that's what we did. So we used so we did have clean water for cooking and drinking, but we used canal water for bathing and bathroom. And just to not okay, so now just hang on. I'm not saying that you have to be near a canal. Here's another makeshift solution. If you have a bucket, get a bucket. Fill it up with only so much water. Okay, like say maybe maybe 2 inches, 2.5 inches deep, just enough, you know. So when you have to go, you know, there'll be some, you know, water in there or whatever. Or better yet, you don't have to put any water, but instead fill it up with Clorox. Okay, put at least about 1 gallon of Clorox in there, or maybe half a gallon if you don't want to use the whole thing and whatnot, and you need the Clorox for something else. But kind of fill a little, like the bottom, just barely, and just enough that, you know, that the Clorox can counteract with, like, you know, the smell and whatever. And you can basically use the bucket for, you know, go to the bathroom and whatnot. And of course, once it gets to a certain, you know, it's filled up to a certain height or whatever, take it out back, dig a hole, dump it out. Okay. Just something for your guys' arsenal in case hard times like this should to ever arise and whatnot. Okay. just look out for each other out there.
To be turned away from queues.
Mm-hmm.
But for some, it was even worse.
Yeah,
Burst
I
pipes
saw.
and water mains caused.
Yeah, I saw many TikTok videos of this sort of shit happening, and all these homes and these families, all their stuff was ruined. Their couches, beds, TVs, electronics, everything got ruined because of the water.
Severe
and because the roofs were leaking, dude.
Flooding in some
Like
homes
fucking
and
A,
apartments.
look at this shit.
Most houses had their water mains buried in the front yard, hidden under layers of snow, making it hard for residents to locate the shutoff valve. While residents struggled with frozen water mains, another emergency unfolded. Firefighters were called to a blaze at the Hilton Garden
Oh my
Inn.
god, yeah. This was another thing that after that point, yeah, there was definitely, especially in the cities near me, within say a 50 mile radius, fires even from local businesses freaking started to pop up, and just shit hit the fan, and holy fuck. We have a famous restaurant, Italian restaurant named Stefano's here, that unfortunately was the result of a fire because of the outage, and it burned down pretty good portion of it that they had to pretty much, that they had to pretty much tear it down and rebuilt it from the ground up. And I'm not gonna lie, I miss the old look. I don't know why they couldn't keep the old look, but it just looks different. Okay, I just hate it. I just don't like the way it looked. They gave it like a modern look and whatnot, but I had preferred their old original design and whatnot. Now I get that they couldn't, I guess, do that for whatever reason and whatnot, but I don't see how they could possibly, not make it, still kind of keep it the same, but make it a bit different ish or whatever, if you get what I mean. So going in there felt like I was eating in a gym, not even in it didn't feel like its original atmosphere basically and whatnot, because it was a good restaurant, and for its atmosphere type of its interior is that you can at least hear yourself and the other person talk and whatnot, but now it kind of sounds like a gym. So now you kind of hear it has like this echoing effect and whatnot, because there's so much space that has been anyways.
They arrived at the hotel where flames and huge
Damn,
columns
dude, that
of
thing
smoke
went
were
up.
rising from the roof.
Was it electric?
The hotel was booked to capacity,
Okay.
with locals occupying most of the 102 rooms due to the severe weather, which had left them with limited or no access to water at their homes.
Okay.
4 rooms are starting to fall in.
Oh, shit.
We're going to start going checking there. We need to start forcing the door. No time for keys.
Uh-oh.
Some type of Salvation Army response. We got a large number of displaced residents.
Oh, shit.
A large number.
2 days before the fire, frozen pipes had caused flooding in the hotel lobby.
Okay.
To prevent further damage, the fire sprinkler system was turned off.
Oh.
Unfortunately, this left the building vulnerable.
Right.
When the fire started, the disabled sprinklers let
do
the
anything.
fire spread quickly.
Yeah.
Firefighting was made even harder because burst pipes had also damaged the city's water supply. Firefighters were able to contain the blaze after midnight. One guest suffered minor injuries, and 2 others were treated for smoke inhalation. Sadly, a family pet named Chico the Chihuahua was lost in the fire.
Oh, man.
Just before the 9th day, the Great Freeze was finally over. But for victims affected by the power crisis, their fight was only just beginning. And it was time to figure out why things had gone so horribly wrong.
Basically, what we have here, guys, is what, if you haven't heard this term, you're about to hear it. What we have here is what we call Murphy's Law effect, Murphy's Law, whatever, but it ultimately is Murphy's Law. What's Murphy's Law? It's a military term that was named after, surprise, Murphy, a person named Murphy. I'm just going to give you a little bit of the synopsis here, but basically is that what happened is that this person named Murphy was in an army unit, had basically had anything that you could possibly think of you would think that wouldn't go wrong ended up going wrong. So this is what pretty much like what Texas was feeling. Okay, anything you think that wouldn't go wrong ended up going wrong. So we didn't think the power grid would fail, and it ended up failing. Ended up crapping out. We didn't think our water system would, fail. It ended up failing. Freaking Murphy's Law took an effect and freaking went to shit. And so yeah, that's like I know we're about to get into like some of the details of like the reason why things went wrong, but like Murphy's Law is like part of the reason. Okay, it's a factor. It's a contributing factor. Just like, a freaking big old case of bad luck, basically.
Was the Great Freeze really unprecedented? And was it a coincidence that Texas was caught so off guard? The main issue was undoubtedly the high energy demand for heating in an unprepared state.
Yeah, the power grid itself. Because we have a shitty ass power grid, we didn't account for it. And, one thing in Pennsylvania that I learned is that they're accustomed to this type of weather, and it is known that these type of things happen, but they're well prepared for it and whatnot because of over the course of the course of history, that time and time again that they obviously put in their time and energy and efforts into how to create better homes during harsh times like this, really harsh winters and stuff like that. But that's because that's a northern thing. This is what these northern states deal with on a daily, and it's not like it's anyone's fault or anything. It's just like the topography of where they live and such. So with that being said, in Pennsylvania, they're very well, the northern states, they're very well equipped and prepared for this type of situations, unlike Texas, because usually down here, if it gets cold, it just get cold, and only like the northern part of the state gets any snow, and it's rare. It'll be once in a, I don't know, 100 years, I guess, or whatever time period that you will see that there will be any snow down here in the lower regions here where I live, down here in South Texas. Okay. I do remember back in 2000 and I think 7 or someone that lives in my area. If you remember my first Christmas snow, I was surprised, and I think I was like maybe 12 or 13. And yeah, I saw snow for the first time in Texas. I never thought I'd see the day. But holy crap, that was such a wonderful, amazing Christmas. And then again, it happened again in 2013? God, I can't remember when was the last time we had snow, but yeah, freaking the last time we had snow was, holy shit, quite a long time ago, like maybe 7-8 years ago, I want to say.
The disaster was blamed on unprecedented weather, but it was somewhat predictable.
Yeah.
This was the third time.
I don't know. That can be debated, especially for weather patterns down here in Texas and whatnot, because they'll say like, oh, it's going to have a 50% some chance of rain and whatnot, and it doesn't even fucking rain. Okay. I think as for weather down here in Texas, it's very unpredictable and bipolar, for real. Like I said, last week we had a cold front come in. It was in the 50s. And the very next day it got into the 70s. And I was like, oh, why? Why couldn't it just like, lasted for a week or two instead of just one day? I hate it. And even though I love Texas, one of the things that I hate about it, though, is the weather patterns, is that it's very bipolar. It doesn't want to stay in, one way or another. And if it does, it's hell to pay. Like if it'll rain and a freaking monsoon comes in, it's going to last for quite a while.
Recommendations
and the
were
mosquitoes.
ignored.
Mosquitoes suck
Surprisingly,
also.
The situation could have been much worse. During the power outage, ERCOT admitted in narrowly avoiding a prolonged blackout that could have lasted for months. The company defended its actions, which resulted in the largest forced power cut in U.S. history. Approximately 90% of Texans rely on ERCOT for their electricity, which primarily comes from sources like natural gas, wind, and coal. Despite its crucial role, ERCOT does not operate its own power grid.
No, it doesn't.
Instead, it works with over 1,800 companies, providers, and utilities in the energy market to manage the supply of electricity.
Yeah, I remember this being broke down in a TikTok saying that that's how, they operate. And also it led to the failure of the power grid.
Tragically, at least 19 people died from carbon monoxide poisoning.
Oh, shit. So that family wasn't the only one. Anyways.
During the storm. Among them was 11-year-old Christian Pavone, whose autopsy revealed a similar cause of death. Initially suspected to have succumbed to hypothermia, it was later found that carbon monoxide poisoning was the actual culprit. Investigators found the fatal fumes were caused by a gas-powered generator intended for outdoor use.
And it's like not even death. How do I say this? It's freaking like, because people didn't understand, or because sometimes when people don't, I'm gonna call it, don't freaking, I think it should just go, it should be explained and educated to people. All right, guys, check this out. I know I can't fucking make a coherent sentence and whatnot, but it's because of unforeseen negligence. Well, maybe not negligence. Maybe that's a harsher word or whatever, but more, maybe for a lack of a better term, but having the education or knowledge of, what to do with one of these things or whatnot, or being that type of situation. But if you get a generator, you guys gotta have to put it outside, okay? It has to be outside, because if you don't have it outside, carbon monoxide will build up and displace all the air within the confined area, and you'll be breathing in freaking carbon monoxide, whatever, and get, it'll fucking kill you, dude. It will fucking kill you, okay? The body needs oxygen. It cannot with freaking carbon dioxide or whatever. It's a gas. It's a deadly gas. It'll freaking kill you. You have to have your garage door open, or have your generator outside, so it won't displace the air in the confined space that you're in. Just for you guys out there, be knowledgeable about this type of thing and whatnot, because you could find yourself, or someone, before you know it, they freaking die in unfortunate, unforeseen circumstances due to the lack of knowledge, or not having the know-how of how to operate these things in a safe environment, or safely.
Notably, Texas is among 6 states without a mandate for carbon monoxide alarms. Soon, thousands of Texans filed lawsuits against ERCOT for deaths, injuries, and damages. But they would fail.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court ruled that the energy supplier has sovereign immunity, which protects government agencies that provide essential services.
Yeah, pretty much.
There were 246 deaths in total. But even
Damn.
this was debated by the community.
Mhm.
The storms caused 80 to 130 billion in losses from damages and missed opportunities.
Mhm.
Nearly a year later, the National Transportation Safety Board's investigation into the 133-car pileup found that road operators had been warned about the severe weather.
Oof.
While de-icer was applied to the road surface, temperatures dropped lower than expected, which led to treacherous road conditions. Since then, Texas has passed Senate Bill 3, which mandates the weatherization of energy infrastructure to withstand extreme weather and requires regular compliance inspections. ERCOT improved its response to emergencies and public communication, creating a more reliable grid.
I don't know. That's debatable. I don't think it's gotten any better, really. I don't know. I can't necessarily maybe speak on that 100% and whatnot, but still, in my experience, that even though that we're not under ERCOT, we're under Texas Energy. I can't say whether if it is or not and whatnot, but I can't necessarily. I don't know. The evidence kind of points that it kind of that maybe it isn't still and whatnot. Like if they say they did better, like that they're doing better and whatnot, okay, maybe I guess I can probably believe that. But whether if they're like gone 100%, full blown, invested in how to make it like better, like say make it as good as those in the northern states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Maryland, whatever, New York, that that having the power outages is kind of like a bit of a rare occurrence, that I can't like that these people probably should like they're kind of using a bit of a strong term for that and whatnot, so they kind of like should have no, not double down, but like should have toned down a little bit. That like, okay, yeah, we're a little bit better, but I wouldn't say that we're 100% good or better than how they were back in during the 2021 freeze.
Public Utility Commission of Texas also
get
strengthened
what I'm trying to
management
say.
and enforcement to ensure compliance with new.
I know I'm not getting it across as well as I think I am and whatnot, but it's just like as I'm watching the video, guys, like there's a lot of freaking things going through my head and thinking about, especially with that freaking family that freaking died and whatnot. It's looming over me, dude, because like holy shit. And especially that a lot of people, like how the narrator said that they filed lawsuits and whatnot to no avail, that nobody got compensated or saw like these companies like get hit and being taken responsible or being held accountable, sorry, that they were pretty much like immune to these lawsuits, which is, it's just that freaking thing where like, the freaking corpos or fucking,
New standards.
have shitty ass
Furthermore,
practices.
public awareness campaigns have educated residents on home insulation, emergency.
If one thing that if there's one thing that I hope that Trump can, help Texas, is that not only Trump, but maybe Elon Musk can help, with that they should look into this and, see what could have been done better and, put Texas on the path of have a better infrastructure thingamabob or whatever, or even better yet, maybe Elon Musk should freaking buy the goddamn energy. Should buy them out and freaking like make it better.
Preparations and the dangers of carbon monoxide poisoning. But questions remain. Will these measures handle future extreme weather?
In my personal opinion, I doubt it.
Will weatherization finally be a priority?
I really don't. I don't. Why? Because Texas has as I already said, like our power grid is like kind of fucky, and they also have like other standards and practices that are a little bit on, I don't want to say shady side, but like it kind of lifts an eyebrow and be like, why are you doing it like this then, or what? If you get what I'm trying to say, it's just a complicated situation and an even harder pill to swallow. And, to try to get all the information and, break down the entirety of like, these factors that played in to this unfortunate event that, left millions and millions without power, food, and, just a friggin' shitty.
And most importantly, is Texas prepared for future storms?
I don't think so. Honestly,
Watch
don't
this
think so.
episode next. If you
I think honestly that's something that we definitely should invest in and look into. And we definitely need to look at it in hindsight, of course, and prep for the future. Because if this was just a taste of of stuff that everything bad could possibly go ended up happening, what's gonna happen if something even worse? And because I forgot what year it was, but it was under Trump's presidency, and freaking we got hit. Houston got hit with a fucking hurricane. See how that turned out, and then it freaking definitely left Houston in in a bit of a pickle, So if this was since this happened not only in the state, but it also affected other neighboring states as well. So yeah, there's definitely a lot to unpack here from guys and whatnot to and demonstrate. Well, not demonstrate, but see all this unravel. It is taking me back, it's taking me back and making me think about what I was doing around that time and whatnot. I just got back down from Pennsylvania after I learned what my mom told me, that a freak ass freeze came to Texas, and then freaking Ted Cruz went on a little vacation and whatnot and didn't come back until things started getting better and whatnot. But this freaking thing, dude, it was definitely an eye opener for everybody, not just for Texas itself, but for even people that crap. I'm not sure what else to say other than it was definitely a shitty time, shitty experience. I thankfully wasn't but also a bit because I wasn't here with my here for my family, kind of help and whatnot. And while I was over there in Pennsylvania visiting my friend and whatnot, but I didn't even think that that this freak ass weather would freaking just decide to come to Texas and whatnot or whatever. I honestly thought it would have probably just it lasted for a day, because like I said, freaking Texas weather here would be bipolar. It'll be hot one day, then I don't know where freaking cold front comes, and then freaking freezing. But then the next day the sun will come back up, and then it's going to be in the 80s or in the 90s yet once again, just because that's how freaking Texas weather kind of operates and whatnot. But I guess ever so often, rarely, that we'll get a freak ass freaking weather storm and whatnot comes down here and then freaking fucks shit up. I was up in while I was in Pennsylvania. I mean, I was experiencing that cold front and whatnot because and I wanted to experience the snow and whatnot, because my first time going, there was snow, but I didn't get to see I didn't get to do snow activities like sledding and stuff like that. But my first time there was snow, but I didn't get to like I said, experience do any activities in the snow, whatnot. But that's just my how I experienced this whole thing and whatnot. So but yeah, I got on. I found out, and I was calling back home. Was calling my mom to tell her that, like, hey mom, are you okay? Is everything all right? I'm doing okay. You know, just an update. Just giving my mom her 2 cents of relief or whatever, making sure that everything is okay. I'm doing good. Yada yada yada. But after when she told me, I was like, oh, dude, like I got off the phone with my mom, and I was telling my buddy, like, you need to call your mom and check up on your family, right, dude? But I'm giving you my sense of right now that I want to go back. Okay, I think we might have to cut our little vacation short, and I think we need to drive back home. And that's what I told my friend. And as soon as he got off with his mom and dad, next day we packed up, we had breakfast, and we left. We started driving back home. He drove up until, like, well, I want to say until we got into Kentucky. Yeah, Kentucky. And then I started taking over the wheel, and I drove up until we got back into Houston. And once we got into Houston, we stopped and took a nap at one of the rest stations, and then around 6 or 7 in the morning, I got back on, and then we started heading back to head back home. And yeah, it was just a straight shot. We hardly made any stops, but by the time we got there, like, yeah, friggin' my house, the yard was like all brown. The grass was like, struggling to stay alive. Yeah, so a lot of freaking it was crazy ass shit and whatnot. It was definitely an interesting month and year for that shit to happen. But that's I think that's all I have to say about that experience. And also, by the way, I'll leave the video in the description, guys. Let me just do that real quick. That way I have it in my clipboard, and I'll put it in the description, guys, so you can go check the original video out. So definitely give a like and a sub. Dark Records, yeah. And shout out to Dark Records. Thank you for awesome video. It was a pretty good video. This video came out 5 months ago. It's a pretty good damn video. So my fellow Texans out there, if you had also experienced this situation, tell me what happened to you in the comments, and how your experience varied. Was it similar? Was it somewhat different? Did you make it okay? Is your family okay, etc.? Anything that you'd like to share, please leave it in the comments. I would like to read that and see what happened with you guys. And I think that'll be it, guys. That's going to be in the end of this video. Like I said, subscribe to the channel, and also go visit this Dark Records and leave a like and subscribe to their channel as well. Show them some support, because it was a very good video, and I greatly enjoyed it as well. It was very insightful, to seeing stuff that happened during that time, But all right, guys, that's going to be it for me. I'll catch you all in the next one. Later, guys.